Hey folks, first thing I want to say is if my audio's messed up, it's been messed up for the last few videos. Sound system on my computer is gone kaputski, so I have to do everything with with headphones on, which I absolutely hate doing. Everything sounds different, the volume levels are different. So, and they're just cheap headphones too, which isn't helping. So I can't tell. As long as everything's the same volume, then it should be okay, but I don't know if it's too loud or too quiet or what, so you'll have to excuse. I got a new one on the way, and it won't be here till at least Friday, so it's going to be a little while yet before I can get things back to normal. So I found out what our new restrictions are.
Breaking news in Ontario. We're on just the first day of new pandemic-related regulations. Things are already changing. Hilary Johnstone is in Ottawa with more. So Hilary, there were new powers given to police officers right across the province. That stirred up a lot of controversy, and now there's indication that they might be reversing back or something might be changing. What are you hearing?
That's right. So what we're hearing is that there is some sort of expectation that these new powers that were just announced about 24 hours ago, that they could be modified. And this is coming from the Ontario Association of the Chiefs of Police. So it's a group that speaks on behalf of police leaders across the province. What that group is saying is that they are in dialogue with the province in order to try and better understand how they were expected to enforce these new powers. And they are now anticipating that those powers that were announced just yesterday, which do give police the right to stop people at random and ask them why they're outside of their home, that those changes, that those new rules are going to be modified. So we're going to bring up a bit of a statement we have now from the association, the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. It says, the measures announced yesterday will be modified. We are waiting to officially receive what the modifications are so that our chiefs can ensure their officers can continue to serve their communities during these difficult times. So we're still awaiting for anything official from the Ontario government, from Premier Doug Ford on this, but there is some indication, Natasha, that there are going to be some changes made. So just to remind everyone of what those new powers are exactly. So police can stop both pedestrians and motorists. They can ask people to provide their home address and to give a reason for why they're outside the home. If it's determined that people are outside their homes for non-essential reasons, then they can be issued tickets of $750. And if they refuse to comply, they can be arrested and they can be charged. So those were the powers that were given to police just yesterday. And of course, all day today, there's just been this growing list of police organizations across the province, from Niagara to Sudbury, Ottawa to Peel and Toronto, saying that they had no intention of randomly stopping people and asking them why they were outside their homes. But there was still a lot of concern that legally, police were allowed to do that. And some groups have expressed a lot of concern, a lot of fear that this was going to disproportionately target certain communities, certain groups of people possibly. We know that the Canadian Civil Liberties Association came out earlier this afternoon and announced that they planned a court challenge against this. And they've also expressed some of their concern around these powers. Take a listen.
What the government has said today is that that being out of your home in and of itself is enough of a reason for police officers to stop and question you. And when you hand over that kind of discretion, we know that some populations face greater scrutiny from police than others, and those same populations are likely to be the ones most directly impacted by this.
So concerned that perhaps populations or communities, groups of color, people of color might be disproportionately affected by this. Of course, if it is true that these are changing, and that's what the Ontario Association of the Chiefs of Police say that they are anticipating that modifications are going to be made, then we will have to see how the Canadian Civil Liberties Association responds once we learn even more details.
Okay, and as you were saying, Hilary, it's just day one of these new modifications or restrictions that have come into play, and already the Premier has backtracked on something that was also causing controversy around parks and playgrounds. What are we hearing there?
That's right, playgrounds. So playgrounds are once again going to be allowed to open. It was just today, it was as of 12:01 this morning that they were supposed to close, that they were going to be off limits, along with a number of other amenities, including things like soccer fields, basketball courts, golf courses, that sort of thing. playgrounds are going to be allowed to reopen. And there's been a lot of reaction to this over the course of the day. But we do have a tweet here from Premier Doug Ford announcing that backtrack. So he said in a tweet, Ontario's enhanced restrictions were always intended to stop large gatherings where spread can happen. Our regulations will be amended to allow playgrounds, but gatherings outside will still be enforced. Play outside safely. Parents, keep your distance and wear masks if you can't. And we've been hearing today, even just earlier this afternoon, from Dr. Peter Uni, who is the director of Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table. And on CBC Radio, he spoke about how yesterday on Friday was one of the darkest days he's ever had personally or professionally, that he couldn't understand why certain things weren't being introduced, like protections for essential workers. Well, the government was also closing things outdoors, such as playgrounds. So amid some of the backlash, we now know that there will be a backtrack on that and that playgrounds in the province will be permitted to reopen.
Hilary Johnstone in Ottawa. Thank you, Hilary.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to comment about this. I'm just going to ask one question. I'm going to quote what Doug Ford said. Ontario's enhanced restrictions were always intended to stop large gatherings where spread can happen. Well, explain to me how police stopping people randomly is preventing large gatherings. That's my only question. Ocean buggy, don't step in the exhaust. So it's just kind of like, well, I'll see what I can do and then see if I get pushback on it. Oh, I got pushback, I better backpedal a bit. It just drives me nuts. And there's another one too. When people are being stopped at the Manitoba border and the Quebec border and being turned back if it's not deemed essential travel. Anytime he's questioned about what he's doing, he always says, I listen to the science table. I say what they're supposed to say. Well, problem is, World Health Organization and the Center for Disease Control, we're supposed to listen to those people like they're the voice of God. We say anything against them, our video on YouTube will get removed. Can't speak against them. Well, both of them have come out and said that lockdowns don't work. You shouldn't be doing them. Why aren't you listening to them? But no, he has to listen to the science table and what they say. Well, okay. Let's hear from one of the doctors on your science table. Are you really listening to them?
Dr. Uni, do you mind if I ask, quite frankly, do you still feel like an advisor to the provincial government if there's this much of a disconnect between what you're saying and suggesting versus what's actually happening?
I don't know. It's to be honest, yesterday was one of the darkest days in my professional and career and also personally. We need to do that differently. And, a lot of people implored me not to step down because we need to move on and we just need to make the best out of it. And probably what is needed, that we just all focus on what every single one of us can do. This is really just common sense. Be outside, not inside with other people. Every single one can contribute to interrupting the transmission. And every single one needs to be really alert of, what is really needed and what is not. And just, signal to their employers, hey, are we really just in a position that we need to keep this part open here? And the employers need to really now just also, be responsible. It's a moral and ethical obligation of employers now to do the right thing too. And all of us need to be uncomplicated if it comes to vaccinations. We need to help those who need to get vaccinated as much as we can to get the vaccines. We need to get it ourselves if we're already just, ready to get it, but also think about whether somebody else would be more in need. We need to make this all grassroots now. We're in a crisis and the crisis is really severe.
Dr. Uni, you seem like you're struggling with your position when you describe it that way. Can I just ask, before we let you go, on a personal level, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel terrible. I mean, I mean, yeah, yesterday I had a crying fit when I was on the call with Danny Brown. He actually tried to comfort me. It's just wrong, it's just wrong.
Well, Dr. Uni, we appreciate you taking the time to call in. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for having me.
It sounds to me like you're picking and choosing which doctors you want to listen to, just like everybody else is. Anyway, I hate talking about this, but I have viewers from around the world. I want them to know what's going on here. And my videos are about my life, and well, this is affecting my life, right? So, but anyways, nice today. It's 16 degrees. I can actually, it's kind of cool, but I can actually feel the heat. I don't know how to explain it, but it's overcast. There's no sun whatsoever right now. And there is rain on the way. It's not far off, so I'm probably going to get rained on while I'm out today. Hopefully not too bad. But it looks like it's going to start, like the edge of it's feathered, so it's probably going to start lightly and then get heavier. So I'm hoping I don't get it too bad. So I'm not going to take too much time here. I do have another viewer question that I want to get to, but I'm going to have to wait till I get back for that. Because I just kind of don't want to get too wet today. So I'm only going to be using the H9 here in the waterproof case again today. I don't want to take a chance on getting my new camera wet. So I don't have a lot. I'm just going to the post office in Timmy's. I can't really tell, but it almost looks like I see raindrops already. So that's all I got until I get back, and then I'll talk some more. Okay, so I'm back now, and I just beat the rain. I got kind of worried. I stopped to talk to the gents there, and I could feel the rain starting. But I made it. Looks like it's coming down pretty good now. I got back just in time. So, Reg is in Wingham now. He's been transferred to the Wingham Hospital. From what I understand, all the COVID patients are going to Stratford Hospital, so they kind of brought him here so that they'd have room there. So he's got one knee done, and he's got to get the other knee done, but before he gets his knee done, apparently he has to have his hip replaced. The poor guy. So, hopefully in the end everything works out for him and he's able to walk properly again. Wow. So, but he's here, he's close to home. Nobody can go visit him because of the restrictions, but at least he's here in town. So I wanted to go out today. It's, like I say, it's actually pretty nice out, temperature-wise anyways. It's pretty windy. I don't like that wind. The wind's kind of chilly. But it's our last nice day. Apparently winter's coming back for a couple days.
New England states. Now let's get into the total snowfall maps according to all three of these models. So first off, the European model, all I'm going to do is break down the amounts. There's too much going on here, but there's two areas that are highlighted in each of these models. The Rockies, obviously, and then that area from Illinois and through Indiana up through Michigan. So if you're anywhere in the grays, we're taking a look at about a dusting, if anything. Within the blues, 2 to 6. Within the purples, 6 to 10. And then within the pinks, 10 to 20. And then you can see some of those teal colors there for the Rockies in some spots. That's where we're at 20 inches plus. So the two bullseyes, like I said, is there in the pinks for Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. And then one there for the Rockies as well. So the GFS, you can tell, has a southeast bias here. We've just switched it, and you can tell that it's a lot further southeast with most of that snowfall, except for the Rockies, because obviously you can't move the mountains. So if it's dictated by the mountains, it will not have a southeast bias. But when it's just flat land, that's when you will see a large difference here with the GFS. So we do see those large amounts there for the Rockies, and it really just does not have as much snowfall for the Great Lakes at all. But as we take a look here at our Canadian model, you can tell this one is back, basically showing exactly what the European model is showing. 10 inches plus here for Michigan, possibly Indiana, possibly Illinois as well, and then obviously the Rockies. So yeah, major snowstorm coming up. What's my confidence at? Well,
So I got two more topics. One, I have a question about the SJ cam. Okay, before I get into that, I got one more thing to talk about. I'll do it first so get it out of the way before I forget. Zach is off work for a couple weeks. Apparently somebody on his shift tested positive, so his shift has been shut down and he's off for a couple weeks. It's going to be interesting because he's the only one that's working. The other three of us were on ODSP, so we don't have to worry about our income. So his income's going to stop. I'm not sure if his company's paying for the time off. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's going to be interesting anyways. As a precaution, he's not going anywhere. He's going to get tested again just to make sure, because he can't get it. He's got he's susceptible to pneumonia. If he gets a cold, it always turns into pneumonia. So he does have lung issues, so he can't get it. He's a little bit freaked out. But you know, the rest of us aren't too bad as far as that. I'm probably the safest one out of all of us. Yeah, if I get it, I don't have anything that it's going to cause any major issue with, so I think I'm the only one in the house. The other two, you know, Michelle with her cerebral palsy, I'm not sure if there's any issues that she has that it could, you know, cause a problem for her. But her and Ken both have asthma, not severely, but you know, it is there. So hopefully everything goes good as far as that goes. But, yeah, if anything was going to happen, it would have happened by now. So, we're really not too worried about it. But this could be interesting anyways. If he doesn't have an income for a couple weeks, it's going to be pretty rough for him. So, final thing to talk about today is when I run my cameras, the batteries take, they drain faster than they charge. So even when I'm using them plugged in, the battery drains faster. So when I'm running my cameras, they're pretty much always running on dead batteries anyways. But somebody asked me a question: can you run the batteries just on the USB without, or the cameras just on USB without the battery in it? Because being lithium batteries, they're worried about them expanding and exploding and that. Well, I have had a couple expand on me. I've never had one explode. If you remember when I was in Hanover, well, those of you who've been with me for a while, I had to rescue my previous SJ cam because it had turned into a ball. So the battery had swollen up pretty good, and I couldn't get it out because it was expanding the camera with it. So I had to take the camera apart to get the battery out. And I had one other battery that was sitting on my desk, one of my spare batteries, that decided it was going to expand on its own. So it happened even without being used. So, as far as charging and that goes, I don't think there's going to be a problem. But I have never tried to run these on USB without a battery in them. So I am going to do that right now and see what happens. Of course, I'm doing this without my glasses. I'm not sure if that's aimed properly. Okay. So that's with the battery in. It's really difficult without my glasses on. So I'll take the battery out. And try it again. And look at that. No battery. So it will run without the battery. I can't try to record because I don't have a card in it, but it says it's recording. Maybe I do have a card in it, I don't know. So apparently it will work without the battery in it. The danger in doing that is if something happens, and say you hit the cord or something and the cord loses contact just momentarily and the camera shuts down, your file goes poof, because there's no battery backup to protect that file and save it before the camera loses power. So that file will be completely corrupt and completely gone. You won't be able to use it. So there is that issue. But apparently the camera will work without the battery in it, as long as it's plugged in. So I've never known this. I've never had a reason to. My weather cam I do use without a battery in it, and the reason for that is because this port broke, the charger port. I don't know if I got that aimed right or not. Charger port broke, so even if I plug the cord in, nothing happens. So I actually took it apart and I soldered the USB cable right directly to the battery terminals. And I was taking a chance doing that because make sure you get this in right. Okay. So I took a chance doing that because the batteries are 3.7 volts and the USB is 5 volts, so I'm kind of overpowering it, but it works. It isn't an issue for it, so obviously it's not going to have a problem with that. So I learned something today. Oh, there is one more actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Make sure that's turned off. Another question was, do they all come with the waterproof case? Yes. All the action cams come with the waterproof case because they're designed to be used with them, and the case is actually what you mount the camera with. So all these cheap action cameras, they're all copies of the GoPro. They're cheap alternatives, and they're competition. So that was their actual design. But there's so many brands out there now. But they all come with the waterproof case. So anything specific, like mine, I've got the powered case. So you're able to plug the charger cord into them, and they're still completely 100% waterproof, even with that cable in them. So because I need to be able to use it in the rain for the same amount of time that I use it, not in the rain. So I got the powered waterproof cases. So that's something separate. Every one I bought so far has come with the extra, the open frame, so you can use it not in the case, and you can actually hear the audio of what's being said. Because with the waterproof case, you can hear, but you gotta talk really, really loud in order to understand what a person is saying. But every one I've got has come with them, and like I said, I don't think I mentioned these ones here. These are what used to come with the SJ cam, and I like them because you can put the camera in really quick and take them out really quick, and you just push it in and it snaps into place, and it's not going to go anywhere. But it's just, it's tripod mounts. You just screw it in place on one of my mounts, like this one. Don't have an example, but that's how I used to do it. And the ones that come with it now, they're the wraparound cases, and they're more permanent. Once you wrap the case around the camera, then it mounts. So in order to take the camera out, you have to unmount it and then pull it off again. And it's more of a permanent thing. So it's not like something really quick where you can just put the camera in, go, and then come home, take the camera out. It's a lot more work. I don't like them at all. Plus, like I said, they're really cheap plastic, and you have to bend them a lot to get them to fit around the camera. So it's, I can see that they'll break pretty easy that way. I think that's it. The other thing I've already mentioned, but just with the accessories, all the mounts and everything. Like I say, these are all modeled after the GoPro, so everything's compatible. Depending on where you get them, the plastic might be a bit cheaper, but everything's compatible. They all fit. All the action cams, including the GoPro, all the mounting accessories, they're all compatible with each other. But like I say, this one here, like the GoPro mount, I didn't go cheap. This is a higher quality plastic. It's a lot stronger, and it manages the cold weather a lot easier. Because I can't have these break. I don't want my cameras falling off. It has happened a couple times, so. But these ones here are a little more expensive. Like I say, it cost me $20, so. And I usually buy them in quantities of 2. So if one does break, then I have a backup. Somewhere here. I'm not sure if it's here or if it's in the house. I have 3 in use. I got the 2 on here. Third one. So when I went back to yeah, this is definitely one of them. So when I went back to the AS950 for a while. I had to put it on there, so I got the third one, and I do have a fourth one here somewhere. I think it's in here, but it's not out of the package yet, so if one of mine does break, I still have two backups. I don't think I'll be using the ES950 anymore. I think the batteries are toast in it now. So I guess that's it. So, enjoyed the day today. It's nice out. Yeah, it looks like the rain stopped again. Yeah. There might be a little bit of drizzle, that's about it, but next couple days, winter's back. Looking at snow again, actual accumulation. But then it's going to warm up again. It's not going to be here long anyways. It's not anything I'm going to have to shovel. But I will probably go out. I'll pick the day with the most snow. So it sounds like Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, both forecasting snow. The Wednesday looks like it's the worst, so I'll go out just to show you what it looks like. Unless it's melted by afternoon, but it doesn't look like it's going to. And then things go back up to double digits again and back to normal. So I guess that's it. I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about except for one. I actually just thought of something. I got me some mail today. Open this without the knife? Nope. I'm running low on these. I've been needing them for a while. And I'd broken a lot of them, and a lot of them have been overused and don't work anymore. I gotta start cleaning up my garbage here. I don't know if you can see what that is. But oh yeah, this is the mount that I use on the tripod. For the same reason, because it's really quick. Stick the camera in really quick, take the camera out really quick. That's why I use it on the tripod. It's just so much quicker and easier. This is what I got. My little black 10-inch bungee cords. This is the only one that I really know of right now. I keep it with me because if a ball joint breaks, that's what I use to keep it together till I get home. As I discovered, if I wrap that around it really tightly, then it holds it in. It keeps the ball in the socket and allows me to continue to drive. So I get 20 pack. I think this cost me like $10, I think, if I remember correctly. I'll throw it up on the screen here really quick. I'll put it on this side this time. So, but anytime I've wanted to buy these, anytime I've had the money to buy them, they've been out of stock, and they haven't had any. I finally found some that were in stock. So I think that's it this time for sure. So hopefully, once this period of ickiness goes through, then we'll get back to normal, and then I can get up in the daytime and get started on what I need to do here. As I say, it's not a simple thing anymore. It's not as simple as just throwing one of the 2x4 sheets of plywood up. I have to do some cutting. I have a chair out here now. I'll give you a hint of what I want to do. So, but I'm not going to explain it until I'm actually starting to do it. So that's all I got for this one, guys. Thanks for watching.